The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
In a reunion with your former defensive coordinator as the head coach in D.C., DQ goes down to the Dallas Cowboys. 34-26 the final score, as Cowboys Nation is finally going to get to celebrate a victory Monday again as they get their fourth win of the NFL season. Welcome into Cowboys OT. It was a wild one in Washington, D.C. The Cowboys had 3 points going into halftime, and they find a way to get it done with 31 points in the second half alone. And this is the Cowboys, reminder, guys, that was held to 10 points last week, held to 6 points the week before, and had just one touchdown after Dak Prescott had been out due to injury. They find a way to win it against Dan Quinn's Commanders. This one was crazy. We've got Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans. Maybe I'm just excited to talk about a win again, which I possibly am. But either way, I thought this game had everything to it.
No, it did. It had a little bit of everything. I mean, you saw some blunders from the special teams, but you also saw the special teams being able to come back and make big-time plays. But for me, this was the first complete team win they've had in a very long time, both offensively, defensively, and, of course, in the kicking game. But when you talk about defense, this was the first time I've seen in a long time this defense looked like they were bought in as a unit, playing as a unit. The defensive line was able to contain Daniels for the most part. The secondary had some key pieces missing out there, but guys like Butler, McCwamu, they were able to step up and they were able to have their coverage on lock pretty much the entire afternoon. And then offensively, you look at it, cool, calm, and collected. Cooper Rush in the pocket all day long, no turnover, so he took care of the football. But for the very first time in a while, they had a balanced attack. They were able to feed Rico out there. He was able to get busy, and that kept that defensive line for the Commanders off of Cooper Rush. We know what Dan Quinn loves to do with his defenses, running stunts, running games, confusing the offensive line out there, and being able to get after the opposing quarterback. They weren't able to do that because the Cowboys had a balanced approach. And even if they weren't running the football, they were getting the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands really fast out there, so he was able to execute the game plan to a T. CeeDee Lamb showed up big time when his number was called. He was able to make those contested catches out there. So for me, this was the first time in a while that this team had a complete win, and they were able to do it against a division opponent.
Brock Hoffman, T.J. Bass, Cooper Beebe, they kept the middle of that pocket clean for Cooper Rush. So I wanted my hats off to those guys. Tyler Guyton played okay, still played okay. They held up against a vaunted pass rush that the coach Quinn likes to bring. But you know what just amazes me is how we ran that ball 28 times, how we controlled the time possession, 35 minutes plus. Those things like that, those little small things like that will keep you in the game, and our defense took advantage of it. For the last 2 weeks, our defense been on the edge of playing a complete game. Today, the offense allowed them to play that complete game.
I love the complete aspect because we haven't been able to say complete or you know what I'm saying, in a while. These guys came together, and I have to tip my hat to this defense. You know, we've been kind of a little bit of singing, we're kind of whispering the praises of Mike Zimmer's defense as they've come together these last few weeks. And today, you saw those guys keep this ball game close. And when you keep a ball game close, crazy things happen, right? You can have some crazy plays on offense, you can have some crazy plays on defense, turnover-wise. Or you can just fumble, you can fumble a kickoff return and take it back to the house, and that could be the deciding factor. All kinds of things happen when the game is close. And you take an offense of the Washington Commanders that has been relatively good all year long, a team that does not turn the ball over, a team that's pretty well balanced, and this defense is able to go out there and stifle what they have going on. Now, they still gave up some yardage there because there were some splash plays, but overall, the Commanders were not in command of this game at any point in time, and you felt like the Dallas Cowboys always had a chance. Micah Parsons did what he does best, and that was have a handful of QB pressures, have a handful of sacks, and go out there and keep things nasty on that side of the ball. Josh Butler stepped up in a major way at the cornerback position. Trayvon Diggs decided not to show up for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on injury-wise or whatever may be taking place with him, but he doesn't show up to the game, so you need somebody to step up. Well, Josh Butler, there you doggone go, right? And you start seeing how these guys are coming together when all all these playmakers start touching the field together. It was good energy from this jump. Whether that was a Dan Quinn thing or not, I don't care what it is, but harness that in and keep it going.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's go through how this one unfolded. Of course, Mike McCarthy's Cowboys traveling to take on Dan Quinn's Commanders. And the first half was full of special teams miscues. Opening drive for Dallas, the 35-yarder from Brandon Aubrey is blocked and returned all the way to the Dallas 34-yard line. That leads to a Washington field goal. They take an early 3-0 lead. Now, he had an opportunity on the next possession after Dan Quinn loves it from the special teams unit. Brandon Aubrey with 42-yarder. This one misses. He goes wide right, and unfortunately the Cowboys are still down by 3, but he wasn't alone. Austin Siebert, he misses his next attempt. A shank to the right as he goes 0 for 1 from the field goal range as well. And then you go into the second quarter. There was a blocked punt. All sorts of craziness ensued. So we fast forward to the third. Jaden Daniels gets the offenses rolling. Washington goes up by 9, a missed PAT there as well. Cooper Rush with a quick answer. He finds Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys kick the PAT. They go up 10-9. That's their first lead since week 9 against the Falcons when it was 3-0. Let's go to this crazy fourth quarter. Dallas started the fourth with a field goal, but it was the defense that showed up again. Donovan Wilson forces the fumble. Kendricks recovers, and that helps the Cowboys get back on offense. Already leading 13-9. Cooper Rush rolling, throwing, finding Luke Schoonmaker wide open on this broken coverage. Cowboys lead it 20-9, but Washington not done yet. Daniels, back of the end zone. He finds Zach Ertz for the score. The 2-point conversion makes it a 3-point game. Then on the ensuing kickoff, we talked about craziness. This is about as crazy as it gets. Turpin fumbles the initial return and then presses the B button. He's out of the gates. Turpy, speed, takes it 99 yards to the house. Cavante Turpin with a punt return touchdown, a 64-yard reception for a touchdown last week, and he goes 99 yards to the house here, Isaiah. This was incredible.
Man, this dude just put everybody on ice skates. I mean, he put his foot in the ground, like a fumble the snap. I've had that happen to me before. It's scary because now everybody's waiting on you. He hit the brakes. Oh, now it's all gas, no brakes. You're not going to catch me. That dude right there is an absolute dog. He is lightning in the bottle. Everybody's aware of it, and they just made him pay for it there.
And if you know anything about Dan Quinn's guys, they weren't done yet either. Jaden Daniels rolling right, finds Terry Scary McLaurin. This was pretty scary. He goes all the way to the house, 86 yards. All of a sudden, Northwest Stadium is losing their mind. They're a PAT away from a tie. Not so fast. Siebert misses it again. It remains 27-26. Washington falls because Dallas takes the ensuing onside kick back to the house. 34-26 the final score in what was a wild second half in Washington. We've got more coverage coming here from Cowboys OT. We've got instant reaction from the locker room. Mike McCarthy at the podium. When we come back, Cowboys get their first win since October 6th against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get their fourth win of the season. We'll be right back after this.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys take down the Washington Commanders in Week 12 of the NFL season. 34-26 was the final score. I'm Kyle Youmans as we welcome you back to Cowboys OT. Let's go back out to Northwest Stadium and hear from Mike McCarthy. You know he wanted this one badly over his buddy Dan Quinn.
Well, there was a lot of good things that happened, too, the way the game started. No, I think we clearly – we had a plan. I think anytime you go into the game and coming off a Monday night game and just the moving parts of who's playing, who's not playing, really went up till today. With Tyler Smith and some of the guys. So, obviously we left a number of guys home, and just really, because there was a couple of plays early you called that were that Brandon Cooks practiced this week and so forth. So I thought our guy, point I'm making, I thought our players just did a really good job of staying to the plan. We wanted to come in here offensively, ground and pound, and wanted to win the time of possession, and try to just really focus on being a favorable down and distance. We were able to do that. We had the giveaways that hurt because we had chances for points that we did not conclude those drives where we did move the ball well, and our defense just kept banging away. I thought our defense did a great job. keeping the score, in the range it needed to be in to win the game. And really, the special teams is a tale of two halves. Their special teams made the big plays in the first half. Ours made them in the second half, and then we got down to the end there, and it was just a game since situational extravaganza. I mean, it's just it's like Yahtzee. Everything was in there. So just a lot of situational football, things to learn from, things we work on all the time, but you still got to execute in those spots. So excellent team win. These are the way these division games are supposed to go. It's just great to see our guys rewarded for just staying the course, just grinding it out. So the messaging's been great. Going up into it, no one's really blinking, just with everything going around us. So it feels good to win. It's been a minute.
Clarence Hill, all said it down. Micah talked earlier in the week. He said some of his podcasts about we're a good football team. Really talking about the growth of the defense. And you talked about the defense. You talked about the growth of the defense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the defense is getting better. I just think you can just see it. The understanding and all the way around. I mean, the staff, the players. We had some just out of balance games. I mean, and it's just good to see we've learned from it. We're getting players back. I mean, it's great to have Deron back today. He played to his pitch count, so it was good to see. And I think Mike is back. Full speed and able to play the whole deal there. But with the changes in the secondary, I thought our coaches and the secondary guys did a really nice job of rolling in there. And I mean, what can you say about Josh Butler, Kamon Hall? I mean, so these guys have earned the opportunity, and you love to reward your young players that just continue to work. And not only did they have the opportunity today, but they made plays. So once again, we're a growing football team. I think you're starting to see the benefit of a lot of young players playing early, and hopefully the fruits of those moments are starting to come into play here. Because obviously we got a quick one here coming up on Thursday.
It is a quick turnaround for the Cowboys, but like you said, it feels good to win again. And it was a complete game, but it wasn't a complete game at the same time. I mean, there were lapses on all three phases. The offense had times where they were struggling. The defense had times where they were struggling. Special teams certainly had its ups and downs, about as volatile as anything that you've seen in an NFL game. But what did you think about the complete three-team unit to get the job done?
Well, I thought it was a good showing, all three phases. I mean, there was a couple roller coaster rides here and there, especially in the first half. But when you look at it, each side of the football contributed to the next. Offensively, they were able to get the time of possession, like my guy Nate Newton always says. They were able to get the time of possessions, which helped that defense stay on the sideline. So when they got back out there, they were rested. They were able to get after Daniels and the crew out there. And defensively, they were able to take the football away and provide their offense with a short field out there, which led to Cooper Rush being able to have the success he was able to have in the second half. And of course, we all understand what the special teams brought to the table today with Kevontae Turpin, the kicking of Brandon Aubrey. So when I say it's a complete game, there was some roller coaster rides here and there, but overall, each part had a play in it, and that's what you got to do as a team to succeed in this league.
I think Coach kept the ball balanced pretty much. He sprinkled enough run in there to keep the defense honest, man. And I just want to say, CeeDee Lamb just fought hard today. You made him. You seen where he was snatching the ball out there, being very aggressive. I like to see that. And your boy Turpin, you've been just crying for all.
Yes,
made a play defensively, but you know what? It's just gritty. I mean, what we saw against Pittsburgh, we saw again today. Rico Dowdle just kept fighting. He kept fighting. I think Coach called a pretty nice game. In the defense, this is what we've been waiting on for some sparks to happen, and it happened today.
We've been talking a lot about sparks, right? You guys are hearing former players up here talk about the spark and how you need something to go the right direction. Now you guys have an understanding as what we're talking about. The first 6 possessions the Washington Commanders had offensively resulted in only 3 points. Resulted in 3 points. Their first 6 possessions, right? They're talking about Jaden Daniels. You're talking about Brian Robinson Jr., Scary Terry, all these weapons they have, right? Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. This defense held them to 3 points. And what that allows you to do as an offense now is to look around and be like, man, we're playing like crap, but wait a minute. We're only down by 3? Wait a minute. We're in this game? Oh, shoot, we just need something positive to happen. Okay, got you. Now, once you get that spark, now everybody's motivated. Now you have your mojo moments. Now you're rooted. All the things that Coach McCarthy preaches, all of a sudden those things start coming back in your head and you start saying, man, we're a different team. And then you look over and you see your dogs next to you. You're like, shoot, we got Micah Parsons right here hitting cats. We got Donovan Wilson playing down in the box hitting cats. We're forcing turnovers. Now you're starting to get that juice. Even when bad things happen, like they did on special teams, you still know that I'm in the game and it's close enough. Like it has not been as of the last 5 games. It has not been close, right? You've lost in a bad way. And you never had a chance to get that momentum back. Now when you keep it close like the defense allowed for, now good things happen, and now all of a sudden you're a completely different team.
Just to go to your point, I mean, when you're starting to fire a couple times, you need to get it going first. That's what it felt like in the first half of Philadelphia and Houston. You were down by a possession going into halftime, but that second half, whether it was a bad third quarter or a bad fourth quarter, that spark just didn't light. Well, today it caught. And it finally happened the way that you needed because a spark finally happened. We'll see what it turns into. It could turn into a fire. It could fizzle out very quickly. But whether or not that's the case, the Cowboys won this one here in Week 12. When we come back, we hear about the spark himself, Cavante Turpin, with a 99-yard touchdown return. We'll hear from KT and Turpy Speed when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT. It was a phenomenal day for the Cowboys, both on the special team side of things. Early and late, it was Cavante Turpin with the final dagger for the Cowboys, a 99-yard kick return. He not only has a receiving touchdown of 60 yards or more, a punt return touchdown of 60 yards or more. Now he has a 99-yard kick return. Let's hear from Cavante Turpin after the win.
That was probably the craziest part about that return.
Yeah, man, it's just like, man, I always do it, bro, when I ain't got nowhere to go and I'm in trouble. So I know I can just get them going one way, then just spin back the other way. Ain't got nowhere to go. Something nobody ever seen before.
Could you take us through the first when the ball went through and when you went back to pick it up, just what was going through your mind at that point?
I really think about just going and get down, but when I seen all of them going to the left, I just knew I can just, bring the spin move out, something nobody ever seen before. Hopefully I can get them from the backside, and I just slid right through.
We remember when you came into this franchise, you had some excitement with touchdowns in the preseason, but first one in a regular season game. What does that moment mean to you?
Man, I just feel good, man. Just, always go out there just to compete, man. Just happy to be here, man. Just doing for this franchise, man. Just happy to always blessed to be here.
When you think about your story, where does this moment fit in?
Man, just a long journey, but it still continues, man. It's a long marathon, but we still continue to go, man. Just one day at a time.
Did you feel the momentum swing in that moment when you were coming to the sideline, the celebration room? Did you guys feel that at that point that it felt like the victory was about to happen?
Yeah, man. I thought I iced it, man. That was the whole thing, man. I thought the game was over, but it never over to the Fat Lady Saints, man. Till it hit 0-0, man. Just glad the way we came out there and compete today.
What about that one way? I mean, you went less than half your distance. I don't know if it should be worth the full 6 points like yours.
Nah, man. That's what we know. We count that. Say, man, we gotta get one in the bag. So we close to 10. So I guess we got 7 right now. So we trying. I'm glad he did it because we needed one more in the bag.
How does it?
You can hear the rest of Cavante Turpin on DallasCowboys.com. Back with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. Gentlemen, it was special to see not only what he did on the 99-yard kick return. I mean, the electricity is unmatched, but he did it last week with the 64-yard touchdown reception. He did it early in the season in the win against Cleveland where he had the punt return from 60 yards out. I mean, how much of a weapon is Cavante Turpin turning into for this Cowboys team?
Look, when you get the ball in this man's hands, anything can happen. Like you just said, he's a ball of electricity out there when he's running with the football. I mean, he's unbelievable in the open field, and you love to see a guy like this make things happen. We talked about it in the pregame show. The stars have to show up for this team. The playmakers have to show up for this team. I'm talking about the Micah Parsons. I'm talking about the CeeDee Lambs of the world. I didn't mention Cavante Turpin, but that guy showed up in the biggest way for this team. When things looked all dire, oh, here comes the Commanders. They're on their way back. Oh, he bobbled the snap here. He picks it up, and he's able to take it the distance. This guy is lightning in a bottle, and he's explosive. And this is the type of guy you got to have on your team. You just got to get him the ball in space, and he'll make things happen.
Well, Barry, you didn't say his name, but I sure did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, Cavante Turpin, I've been singing his praises all year long. I've been singing his, and I've been asking for Deuce Vaughn. These are two of the most explosive players that you have offensively, right? Outside of CeeDee Lamb, of course. And obviously Deuce Vaughn wasn't up today, but Turpin was. And they only gave him the ball one time on offense, and I think that's a shame. I think they're missing out on opportunities for him to make more splash plays because it's almost seemingly every time he gets the ball and he's in a position to make something happen, he does make something happen. You saw it last week in the impact that he had on having a conversion. A couple weeks back, he made a big catch. He should have taken it to the house. Come back last week after watching the film, makes the same type of catch and takes it all the way to the house. And then obviously today finds himself in a bad position. And what did he say? I got to make something happen. So he does so, and he makes these guys pay. You kind of see that there was something that they saw on film because he normally receives the kickoff and he takes off running. Today he received the kickoff and he slow rolled it, set up his blocks, and then he hit it. Obviously it didn't work early on, but eventually it did. That muffed kickoff return, it ended up being just like he was kind of doing the whole game, where he was kind of slow rolling the initial return and then hitting it off. Shout out to the special teams unit for everybody going out there and blocking, and shout out to him for have the wherewithal to go out there and make something happen.
Yeah, a lot of credit for John Fossil to make sure that the game plan is all put into place, and it allows for Kevontae Turpin to kind of have that mentality, even when something goes wrong like that, to turn around, keep your head about
not panic.
Continue rolling.
Playmakers.
Now, real quickly before we take our next break, you talked about getting him involved on offense.
Yeah.
Even on the 99-yard kick return, you saw a glimpse of what the problem has been from a receiving standpoint. Mm-hmm. His hands.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of confidence in his hands. How does now 2 straight weeks with a long touchdown help build that confidence moving forward, even when it hasn't been pretty all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything about this particular kickoff return in terms of his hands because I've had one of those type of crazy kicks before where the ball kind of dives out on you. Stuff happens. Yeah. Happened to me against Philly and David Akers back in the day. Yeah. Couldn't stand it. But in terms of his hands, yeah, that has been a problem in terms of what I've seen. I'm not saying what anybody else has saw. Ever since training camp, his routes were good. His off the line of scrimmage, his releases were good. But he has to get more confidence with his hands. That means they get him the ball at the line of scrimmage. They did it today one time. He had one attempt for 8 yards. You just got to get it to him more, right? You give it to him more because everybody in the league, even though you're a professional athlete, you still require what? Confidence. And it doesn't matter how much you might believe in yourself. If you're not put in a situation and you don't see yourself making plays, then you start questioning who you are as a player. So you don't want somebody who's capable of doing what he's capable of doing. He might be the fastest offensive player in the league. I'm going to say it again. He might be the fastest offensive player in the league. And for you to have potentially the fastest offensive player in the league and you not get him the ball more than one time, that's something that you got to take a look at.
I'm excited to see what the next gen looks like because last week on the 64-yarder, he was the fastest ball carrier in the league this season and the fastest the Cowboys have ever had in the next gen era. We'll try and find those numbers over the course of the show. When we come back, speaking of confidence building, Cooper Rush has taken a step forward, at least from week to week so far. We'll hear from current QB number 1, Cooper Rush, right after this. In his third game as a starter here in 2024, Cooper Rush secured his highest QBR career-wise as a starter in the NFL, throwing for a 117 QBR. He finished 24 of 32 passing for 247 yards. Here's what he had to say after the win.
Yeah, you just got to get that ball rolling. That's kind of what we talked about. That was the messaging all week. Get one. And, especially going into a short week, you can get 2 real quick, too. So you just got to get that one. And full team effort today, as everyone saw, and it was awesome.
Clarence Hill, also Dallas. Can you just talk about the fight in this team? You're obviously frustrated with the 5-game lose streak. We talked about the guys who aren't here, but to continue to fight, no one's giving up. No one's saying what was me.
Yeah, it was a cool bunch of guys getting opportunities, show who they are. Kendricks talked about it earlier in the week. We're going to find out who's going to fight, and I think everyone fought out there today. We found out, and a lot of the young guys stepped up. Played a lot of ball today, and that was huge.
Is it important to know that Micah McCarthy has not lost this team? You guys are still believing in his message and hearing what he's saying?
Yeah, a lot of games left. We're sitting at 4-7, and this is why you play them. You just got to get, like I said, get that first win, get it going, get on a streak, and let it rip.
John Machado with The Athletic. You stayed.
Here's a look at the offensive stats. The Cowboys were just 2 of 11 on third down, but the good thing is they really weren't in a ton of late down scenarios. They were moving the ball effectively. They were balanced on the ground. And if you look down there at the bottom, that's what Nate Newton wants to see. He wants to see a balanced rushing attack paired with time of possession. And we've got Nate Newton to talk about it here as well. Nate, this felt like a complete outing from the offense. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty at times, but they took care of the football. They were able to establish a ground game with Rico Dowdle, who finished 19 carries, 86 yards, and they won the time of possession battle.
I'll tell you like this. CeeDee Lamb, 12 targets, 10 receptions. You have Schoonmaker, 4 targets, 3 receptions. So you got guys making plays for this kid. And when you got guys making plays mixed in with, dabbling with the run, the way Rico was running, and even Rico Dowdle was coming out of the backfield, catching balls and making plays. And when you had it right there, it gives you your QB2 confidence. And when he gets confidence, and he'll start feeding that thing a little bit more around the field. I just think he did a nice job. He was consistent. He didn't give up bad plays today. So that's a good thing.
Hey, I want to clap it up for this young offensive line. Clap it up for this young offensive line. Yes. I know Nate Dogg's going to love that.
Sir.
The young fella stepped up, okay? We had young Brock Hoffman stepped in there, okay? Cooper Beebe took care of his business, all right? And then we had, who's the other young cat that we have, young Thundercat on the offensive line?
Richards.
Yeah, Austin Richards came in, right? So we got all these young guys.
Call him a young Thundercat?
He's a young Thundercat, that's right. They came in here. You're talking about Tyler Smith is down, Zach Martin's down, all these guys are down, and yet you go out there and you might have had your best showing as an offensive line. These guys go out there and give Rico Dowdle 4.5 yards per carry. They only give up 1 sack. These guys took care of business up front against a very respectable front seven that has Dante Fowler, that has Darrell Armstrong. They had all their goons on the defensive line, right? They got one of the Bama boys was in there. This D-line was nasty, and yet it didn't look like they were so nasty against the Dallas Cowboys. They allowed Cooper Rush to sit back there and throw for 75% completion, all while allowing your running back to tote the rock for 4.5 yards per carry. That was a solid outing by this offensive line. So give credit where credit is due. They gave Cooper Rush a chance. And because of that, he was able to give his playmakers a chance. You talk about CeeDee Lamb getting the rock. You talk about Schoonmaker getting going. Brevin Spanford, all he does is catch the ball whenever it comes in his wingspan because that dude's a horse, big old Clydesdale. Give him the rock. He does a good job with it. Wow. These guys were in position to make plays today, not only because of the play calling, but because of the execution up front on the offensive line.
And also, not to mention, they didn't allow a pressure in the first half and only the 1 sack in the second half to Payne. That was it for the Cowboys offensive line. Lots to look forward to moving forward. The Cowboys defense played well throughout, had a couple lapses late, but other than that, was a good outing from the defense. We'll hear from Micah Parsons, who helped lead the charge for Mike Zimmer's defense right after this. Cowboys win 34-26 in Week 12 over the Washington Commanders. I'm Kyle Youmans here with Cowboys OT. Let's go back out to Northwest Stadium. Hear from Micah Parsons. He's happy about the effort, but knows there's still a long way to go for this Dallas defense.
Nah, never. That was the first one for sure. I never been a part of something like that.
Can you just talk about how your defense just continued to stand tall time and time again over the course of 4 quarters, especially in that fourth quarter, needing takeaways, getting
Yeah, we did a great job. I just wish we finished better at the end. Letting them get that touchdown at the end, that really bothered me. But that's what I mean when I say we're a good team. We're slowly putting games together. This time we did all 3 quarters. I would just like us to finish better in the fourth quarter. But we're definitely on our way to being a team that we want to be.
What about the range of emotions when the kick, they missed the extra point, though, after that? I mean, going from that low to that high.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you feel good because obviously you're in a position to win the game if you get another stop. But the point is you shouldn't even get there. Like, that's the reality of it. We shouldn't even get to hoping that they miss a field goal, we block a field goal. Like, we should be able to end the game on defense, get off, and we take a knee down, not all the kick returns and extra points and all that nonsense. Like, we should be able to end the game. And we had 13 points in the last 10 points in the last 4 minutes game. So that part really bothers me. We got to do a better job finishing, just playing high. But overall, I thought we had a great day.
Micah, you talked about being in a dark place during this losing streak. What is the feeling of ending this losing streak?
Obviously, ending the losing streak is good, but it's like, what are you going to do the next couple of weeks? Right? You could do it one time, but with its greatness, consistency. So all I like is to do it against the Giants, get a win there, and then get ready for the December schedule. But all I like is consistency to play well. And like I said, finish this year dominant. And this should start right now. This is a good team that we came and beat. J.D. Daniels, man, he's a hell of a quarterback. Fast, great arm talent. I told him, I said, man, they would have played like that how they did for a minute. We were in trouble. We was gassed. So, high positivity for them. That's a really good team that we was able to come here on the road and get a win. But I would like to see us do it consistent over the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned the
today for Zim?
Give credit to Micah Parsons, whether it's been on his podcast or through the media. He's been very consistent throughout the season. He feels like this team can still make a run and make something of the 2024 campaign. Back with Nate Newton and Barry Church. Barry, I'll start with you. The defense had its ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't perfect on that side of the ball either, just like we talked about with the offense. What did you see from the defense that impressed you, though, in how they handled Jaden Daniels, the run game of the Washington Commanders, and ultimately put their spot in a chance to win?
I saw a lot of guys that, when their number was called, they were able to step up and get the job done. And I'm talking about guys that were filling in for Dez. You talk about Butler out there, guy who had a rough outing against the Texans, but today in the game, 10 tackles, 3 PBUs out there. He seemed like he was all over the place. You talk about Golston being able to fill in out there as well. He had one of the timely interceptions in this game, being able to create a short field for his offense out there. Kendricks, once again, being able to show that sideline to sideline ability. 10 tackles, had the great fumble recovery when Dono was beat on the over route, was able to recover, punched the football out, had a great timely forced fumble out there. There's Johnny on the spot, Kendricks being able to jump on that. So to me, this defense, they played together as a whole. It was a roller coaster up and down. You look at the numbers, man, they still had 145 yards rushing. But a lot of that came towards the end of the game when Daniels was trying to scramble around and make something happen out there for this offense and getting a couple yards that way. And they also did a great job on Scary Terry McLaurin, one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He may have had over 100 yards, but 86 of it came on that last scramble kind of play in the fourth quarter where they almost tied the game up. But overall, this defense, that was a great game plan by Mike Zimmer overall, getting pressure and showing those crazy looks defensively for Daniels. He wasn't able to go out there and decipher what they were doing. They kind of confused him, and for the first time all season, he didn't look cool, calm, and collected. I mean, this is a guy, you're talking about Jaden Daniels, who was a rookie, but out there making great decisions as far as offensively for the Washington Commanders. Zimmer and those guys had him confused all game. So overall, I think it was a great defensive package versus both on the defensive line and in the secondary.
Add McCormick to that mix.
Yes, sir.
Jay Lou, glad you're back. Hey, just had a great game defensively. I think with the help of the offense, this team is starting to defensively come together.
No, I agree completely. And Barry showed up today in his best burgundy trying to jinx
yes.
the Washington defense.
I do what I can.
The Washington offense. We'll talk about the Cowboys offense. Kind of lost in the shuffle of this whole thing. It was a nice day from CeeDee Lamb. He was targeted 12 times, had 10 receptions. We'll hear from wide receiver 1, who was even questionable coming into the week, how he felt after the Cowboys' 34-26 win. 10 receptions for CeeDee Lamb. He was again the Cowboys' top target in their 34-26 win over the Washington Commanders. Cooper Rush starting to find a rhythm. CeeDee Lamb's a big part of that. Let's hear from wide receiver 1 right after the win.
I mean, everybody's waiting on their moment and their opportunity, and it says a lot. I mean, we preach next man up mentality, and today it showed. Shout out Josh Butler. He did a great job, I feel like, personally, just watching the game. And he came up big for us.
Have you ever been part of a game that crazy before?
Yeah, I played in the Big 12, so I'm kind of used to those type of games.
CD, you had a very visible, excited reaction on the Perfect return. What was going through your mind as you came down and were celebrating?
Well, obviously, my mentality kind of changed in a matter of 2 seconds. So to begin, obviously he had the fumble, and then I'm already planning on going out there and doing what I got to do for the offense to go put us in scoring position, right? But we have a guy that's excited and is electric with the ball in his hands. It's Turk. I told him it makes my job a lot easier. All I got to do is sit down and watch. So very happy for him. Obviously love that those type of exciting moments are coming from the receiver room.
Exciting moments from the receiver room. Was it enough to build your confidence in this offense as a whole moving forward, Isaiah?
I like what I see a little bit. I still need more out of Jalen Tolbert. I still think you need a real number 2. I'm just no disrespect to Jalen Tolbert. I haven't seen enough body of work. Obviously, he had a touchdown today, but I think you need a more dependable resource there. I think he's still a number 3 receiver in this league, so you need Brandon Cooks to step up. So hopefully Brandon Cooks can show up for this Thursday's game. That would be huge for this offense because now you can have 3 viable receivers out there along with a big boy tight end and Brevin Spanford that's showing up, Schoonmaker's showing up, and Ferguson's not even on the field. So imagine if you can get those 3-headed monster going in the tight end room along with those receivers, you have more weapons to spread things out for your running game.
I just like how CeeDee Lamb is fighting, man. Like it just makes you feel good when you see your number one receiver fighting and running the right routes and being in the right place. It gives these other guys a spark. It makes the other receivers be a little bit tighter coming in and out of there. And also Rico Dottle coming out of that backfield catching the ball. So CD, keep doing what you're doing. Lead your team by example, man.
There were a couple examples of CD doing that today that didn't involve catching a football, one of which that stuck out to me was when he was on the target of the interception that ultimately got called back because Noah Igbenogany was called for pass interference. He had the reception or the interception, Noah Igbenogany, who was the one that came in and hit Noah Igbenogany to knock the football away so that way Hunter Lipke could recover it. It was CeeDee Lamb. So I think that effort is there. The care is there. I thought even after the Kevontae Turpin touchdown, seeing Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb celebrate the way that they did shows that this team is still certainly locked in for the 2024 season. When we come back, another guy who showed off some effort throughout the game was Juanyeh Thomas. How did he take a step forward for this Dallas defense and special teams unit with more Cowboys OT right after this?
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
It was an up and down for multiple players in the Cowboys, but in this occasion, Juanyeh Thomas got the last laugh, helping block the way for Kevontae Turpin in his 99-yard kick return. Let's hear from Juanyeh Thomas after an up and down win over the Commanders.
Man, Turp, that was different. That was different. Turp is different, man. He spun out and scored, man. Turp is a different animal. So.
How funky of a special teams game was this overall?
Man, it was crazy. We were up, we were down, but we finished the right way though. So, man, some games is gonna be that way, and then this was one of those games for real. So, but I feel like we finished strong as a unit.
Is it relief? Is it excitement? What's the mixture of emotions right now for you guys as a team finally getting back on the right side?
Honestly, man, for real, we just neutral, man. Like us winning, like this is us. Winning is us, you know what I'm saying? So now it's just really neutral. We got to keep that neutral mindset because in 3 days we play another game. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to stay focused and locked in, and then just everybody throughout the locker room now is just, you know what I'm saying, neutral. Now we back to square one again, and then leading up to the Giants game on Thursday. So
5-game losing streak though.
Yeah.
Must feel like a weight off your shoulders.
It is, but like I said, man, we are a team of winning. We are used to winning, so you know. But I'm not gonna discredit this win because it feels great. I'm telling you, it does. But like I said, we just want to stay neutral.
Did you have any special?
How important is it, Isaiah, for the Cowboys to stay neutral down the stretch? Because you can't get too high, can't get too low. You got a short week before a rivalry matchup again inside the division with the New York Giants coming to town on Thanksgiving.
Very important. Very important. But you do want to you have to be your own hype man. You know, so you don't want to get overly confident. Okay, you don't want to be the Colorado Buffalo. Yeah, right now. Like
you got to throw shots at Dion.
Not shots. He said it. He said his team started feeling themselves. You don't want to start feeling yourself, right? Even though you're able to etch out a win, but you do have to be your own hype man, meaning that you got to bring your own energy. You can't be dependent on energy being outside of your locker room. That means that listen to the media, don't listen to the fans. No disrespect, but you have to stay within your locker room. And when your guys make a play, you gas each other up. When somebody else needs some pick-me-up, you pick them up. And you go out there and you go play by play until you end the game and you have a W on that board. That's what you have to do week in and week out because you do still control whatever destiny you have left out there. You can run the table, and you don't know what may happen with these other teams, right? You can't control that, but you can control what happens in your locker room, what happens on that field.
Yeah, you can only control week to week.
Yep.
In this situation, you got the W against one of your division opponents, which is a great win. You enjoy the win as a team. You go in there, you lock back in when you get back to the facility, see what you did right, see what you did wrong out there, and then you go out there and prepare for the New York Giants, which is coming in a couple of days, just like he said. But I believe he had the right mindset as far as we're being neutral right now. We can't get too high on our W's, and we can't get too low. when we mess up, and that's exactly what they did in this game. They, when the mess up was, happening out there as far as botch kicks or fumbles here and there, they didn't get too low on it. They just responded. And when things were going great, they didn't let the penalties or anything bring them back down. So you just got to stay neutral, and I believe Wanye had the right mindset here.
I still can't believe the Colorado Buffaloes
that was a
Cowboys
shot.
OT
That was a shot.
are taking shots.
Hey,
I mean, Nate's over there.
There's layers, man. Their coach was a Cowboys player.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? He's speaking the same thing we're speaking today. Don't feel yourself.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk, right? All right, Isaiah. When we come back, it is time to look ahead to the Thanksgiving matchup. Cowboys Giants coming up on Thursday.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Nothing's off. Just a toe ball in the second one that drifted with the wind a little bit into the frame of the upright. So not a bad hit, but just not clean enough to cut through the wind out there. And then the one that got blocked, just haven't seen it on film yet to let you know it happened, but I didn't feel slow on it, so we'll see.
Brandon Aubrey talking about the ups and the downs from the special teams unit in their win 34-26 over the Washington Commanders as we wrap things up here on Cowboys OT with Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans. Guys, it was a fun win. It was a wild second half. The Cowboys got it done, and the win streak is now officially in the rearview mirror. But do you know how long they have to sit on this one and enjoy it? Probably a 3-hour flight back to Dallas.
That's about it.
That's about it because they've got the short turnaround to a Thursday matchup with the New York Giants. Thanksgiving coming up. How do the Cowboys build on what happened today in a positive manner?
Look, this is where your leaders, come into play because you got a short week out there. So this is not going to be a physical week of practice. You're not going to have the pads on and going out there and seeing what the Giants like to do best on third down and actually getting a run through at full speed. You won't be able to do that. This is where the leaders got to show these young guys how to watch tape because this is exactly what you got to do to prepare for the Giants on a short week. See what their tendencies are. They got a new quarterback at the helm, so see who he likes to go to on first down, second down, third down, what their runs are. But you got to do it watching the film because it's not going to be a physical practice out there this week.
Put ice on your neck, put ice on your knees, just get taped up and do what you got to do and watch that field with Barry. That's all you can do. I've played many of these games, just, 24 hours, guys on the plane right now getting treatment. Trainers will come home with you getting treatment. That's just what it's about. Watch that film, do what you have to do, man, and make sure you keep your crowd small.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the scouting department, get into those notes. They're going to give you a whole bunch of information in terms of analytics. Go on there and look at the analytics that are relevant to what it is that you need to be focused on. Make sure that you're healthy. Make sure that you're loosened up and you're stretching and all those things. Get your massage therapy that you need to get, and then come together as a team. Find a way with your group to come together as a unit because you're going to build on something now. You have an opportunity to go out there and build on something. Don't take that success and break off and go do your own thing. Come together as a unit so that you guys can go out there and take care of business in the next 90 hours.
Well, the Cowboys are also 4-2 on the road. They are 0-5 at home. And this Thursday matchup, this Thanksgiving matchup at home for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a chance to end that streak as well, knocking out a couple 5-game losing streaks in back-to-back games. For Barry, Isaiah, Nate, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long. Cowboys win it, back on the winning track.